This is a Math 1 lesson summary video for the task titled, What's My Salary? This is a develop understanding task. The purpose of this lesson is for students to calculate and interpret statistics, including the effects of outliers. So with lesson 1, there are two different companies, and it lists the salaries for their employees. So we have Sunshine Incorporated and Rainbow LLC. And they have the salaries listed. And the first question asks us to plot both of the company's salaries on number lines that are below, written in the workbook task. So to do this on the computer, I'm going to use Desmos and do this with technology. So I've entered all my data already, so this is for Sunshine, and I have those data points listed, and then down here I just created a table. So to put that data in, you just add a table, and you can just delete out the second column because this is one variable, statistics, and you title it whatever letter you would like. That's going to be important in a little while to make sure you have a variable here, and then you just type in your data. Okay, so I've already typed mine in, and to get a dot plot, which is what this is asking, all I have to do is I would insert an expression, and I get a blank box here, and I'll type dot plot. And then I want a dot plot for these, this set of data. So the variable is S, so I'm just going to type S, and then I have my dot plot listed right here. Right? If I wanted to do a dot plot of this data, I'm going to add an expression and dot plot bar. These are both the same color, which makes it a little difficult to see. So I'm going to go to my settings and change the color so that they can stand out. All right, so I have my dot plots. They look really close together. If I close this, I can see it a little bit better. But this is the value, and it's all at 1 because there's no values listed twice or more than that. All right, so from here, if I wanted to calculate things with the computer, like the mean, I could add another expression and type in mean. I can get the average of the data that I have labeled S, or the data that I have labeled R. Right, so moving on in the task, we have to find all of these sample statistics here. So to find all of these with Desmos, if we pull up this menu under functions, under stats, we have pretty much everything that we need. So we'll start with Sunshine, and I'll go ahead and calculate a lot of these, get rid of some of this information. So expression, and if I want the minimum, I could go here to functions and under stats, and I could push MIN, and then I just put S because I want to do that for Sunshine. So the minimum for Sunshine is 20,000. If I wanted to do Q1, which is quartile 1, I could go to, delete this out, start a new one. Functions, stats, quartile, I want to use the data set that I labeled S, and I want the first quartile. So that's what that S and that 1 represents. I could get the second quartile, which is the same thing as median, and the third quartile. And if I want to do the max, I could go back through and pull up from the function list, or I can just type max for data S. And if I want my IQR, my inner quartile range, I'll just take my third quartile and subtract my first quartile, and I get that 15,000. So I would do the same thing for the Rainbow Company and get those values. And then I have some more statistics over here. So this is pronounced X bar, and it means the mean. So if I want the mean or the average, I just type it in with my technology. So of course the mean, to not use technology, you would add all the values and divide by how many you have. To get the minimum, that would be the smallest value. For the quartiles, that's if you put them, you listed your data in order, The middle value is the median. The middle between the minimum and median is the first quartile. The middle between the median and the maximum is the third quartile. All right, and then this SX thing is standard deviation. So standard deviation is a measure of how spread apart your data is. So larger standard deviations would mean your data is really far apart, and smaller standard deviations means your data is really close together. We're going to continue to explore standard deviation throughout the unit. All right, so to get the standard deviation, I'll delete this out, go to function, and standard deviation is right here. And I'll just type the S to make sure it's getting the standard deviation of my data that I labeled with an S. So for Rainbow, I would do the exact same steps. So as we see here, we're looking at our values. Looks like the average salary is more for Sunshine than it is for Rainbow. But if we look at the medians, this is interesting. The middle number for Rainbow is 46,500, and the middle number for Sunshine is 27,000. So if we return to our data, if we're looking at our data here, we can see that in Sunshine's data, there's this $280,000 number that has made the average go up, but not the median. This standard deviation, this number is so large compared to this one because the salaries are so spread out. So if I'm going to put my other dot plot. These blue dots right here represent the rainbow. So everybody makes really close to the same. The green dots is for Sunshine, and there's a really big spread. A lot of variation in what their employees make. Somebody gets paid a lot of money. So the question then leads us to ask, when is it appropriate to use mean to represent the center of the data, and when is it appropriate to use the median? So we can see that the median gives a more accurate number for the center whenever there's an outlier. This $280,000 number is way larger than any of the other values. So to answer the question, when is it appropriate to use the mean to represent a center of data, and when is it appropriate to use the median? The median is more resistant to outliers. So use the median when there are outliers, and then use the mean when there are no outliers. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.